We all love our cars. They get us from where we are to where we need to be. Some are fast, some are luxurious, some have character. But one thing that they all have in common, they're spying on us. Just kidding, they're not spying on us. Whether it's the onboard systems or the networks and systems that allow your vehicle to communicate with the manufacturer's internal network, every car is connected to a computer in some way. And what happens if it gets breached? Well, I'm glad you asked. Recently, a security researcher named Sam Curry published findings of vulnerabilities in 16 leading vehicle manufacturers. Count them, 16. And you may be wondering, what in the actual frick is a vulnerability? Really, vulnerability is just a fancier and shorter way to say weakness in the system. And that vulnerability could stem from incorrect security settings on a system or network, or even just how the network or system processes the data that's traveling through it. One of the most impactful vulnerabilities discovered by Sam would allow an attacker to take control of very important features on your vehicle, such as flashing the lights, locking the doors, honking the horn, and turning the engine on and off, and locating your vehicle. And as if that wasn't alarming enough, all an attacker would need to do this with a Honda, Acura, Kia, or Infiniti is the VIN number of the vehicle. But wait, there's more. To gain this same type of access in Hyundais and Genesis, all the attacker needs is the victim's email address. Now, before you run to your nearest dealership and demand a refund, remember, prevention is the best cure. All of these vulnerabilities have been reported to the manufacturers and have since been fixed in updates. So just make sure your vehicle doesn't have any pending updates and you'll be just fine. And see what I said about updates in the last video? Don't leave your updates pending. Some of the other vulnerabilities discovered mostly only affect the internal systems of a manufacturer. But of course, those internal systems are there to serve you, so if they get breached, that could also affect you. One of these vulnerabilities was a single sign-on service, which just was not set up correctly. And if an attacker was able to breach that, they would have access to all of Mercedes-Benz's mission-critical applications. And just in case you don't know what a single sign-on service is, to sum it up, it's a service that allows you to sign on to that one application, and it gives you access to every application you would need for you to be able to do your job. And you can imagine that some people have higher responsibilities, so they would have access to more information, more personal information, as well as more critical information for the business itself. The easiest thing to relate a single sign-on service to would be a key and a key ring. Instead of having a key ring with 100 keys on it, you would have one key that could unlock any door that you would need access to. And I'm sure you could see why this would be a big uh-oh if an attacker got access to an employee single sign-on service. Most organizations take a role-based access approach in regards to which employees have access to which applications. That pretty much just means a finance employee only has access to finance applications and maybe like one HR application to request time off. An HR person would have access to anything else dealing with the company's employees. And remember, all of these vulnerabilities have been reported and fixed. So if your vehicle was from one of the manufacturers that popped up on the screen earlier, you do not need to worry. Obviously, there's nothing you can do about a manufacturer's internal network. But what you can do, which I also stated in my last video, is use a strong and unique password. When you can't control what's going on in there, the best thing to do is control everything that you can from where you are. And if you do think you're noticing some abnormal behavior with your vehicle or an online account, just contact your manufacturer and they'll be able to walk you through diagnosing it and instruct you on what to do if something does need to be fixed. And one thing that most of these vulnerabilities had in common is that Sam was able to gain this access through the mobile application for the manufacturers. So make sure you're updating those as well as your vehicle, because those will save you a lot of time and money and stress. I encourage you to ask any questions you have, regardless of how simple you might think they are. Nobody knows everything, so please don't hesitate to ask. You can DM me on my Protect Instagram account or my Protect Twitter account, and I will answer those on my next video. Thank you for joining me here on Protect, where your privacy, protection, and peace of mind is my top priority. Stay safe online, and I'll see you next time.